Big Buck Registries Big Buck Podcast, episode number 59. Chipcity Spaulding from Brackett Outdoors. Big Buck Registry is a virtual museum of hunting stories. We preserve a piece of Americana by interviewing and recording hunters about their hunts and experiences from across the country. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two along the way that'll help us take our hunt to the next level.
Hey folks, this is Scott Skier from Primal Instinct TV on the Outdoor Channel. And you're listening to my favorite podcast on the internet, the Big Buck Registries Big Buck Podcast.
Hey, this is Doug Castrava from the Horny Buck Seed Company, and you're listening to my favorite podcast on iTunes, the Big Buck Registries Big Buck Podcast.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Jay Scott from the Big Buck Registries Big Buck Podcast. Hope you're doing well, and hope my good friend over here on the other line from Ohio is doing well, too. Dusty, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's hot here, though. Man, it's hot.
Yeah, it's
hot.
Well, we're still technically in the summertime,
yeah,
so it should be hot.
It's nasty hot here, though. I'm doing great, but man, it's nasty hot.
Sticky, sweaty.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm ready for hunting season. Get the sun out of here and get some fall weather.
Yeah, well, the nights I'm finding are cooling down. Do they still cooling down in Ohio in the evening time?
Yeah, it's cooling down, but man, this 90-degree weather during the day is just terrible. I'm over it. High humidity, and it's just nasty. It's miserable almost. But it soon enough. Mm-hmm. It'll be welcome to the tree stand. It'll be tree stand therapy time.
Yep, I agree. I like getting out no matter what time of year it is. I don't care if it's 20 below or 90 degrees and humid. I don't care. I need to get outside. It's good for my soul and it keeps me energized.
Yeah, I see a mosquito here in the backyard the other night that would literally carry off a chocolate lab if it got a hold of it.
Isn't it funny how different spots have different sized mosquitoes? I've had little tiny ones. I'm like, that is a mosquito. But then you have these monsters that literally, like, how can a mosquito get that big?
Now, this thing looked like it was like driving a 1-ton truck and pulling a gooseneck trailer. It was so big. I was like, wow, look at this mosquito.
Yeah, it's like on steroids.
Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
You guys have lightning bugs in New Hampshire?
Oh, we have a ton of them, man. My kids, they'll just go out in the evening to catch them just for fun.
Yeah, I just recently heard that they're like almost going extinct because of like insecticides and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, man, there's millions of them. Like if you drive here, there's millions of them.
Oh, same here. Our whole backyard lights up. They're just everywhere.
Yeah, they're the coolest things since sliced bread.
Love those things. Yeah, the whole jar of them. The kids keeps them busy for hours, and then it tires them out, and they sleep like a baby, and it's not a problem. I don't have to wrestle with them in the morning because they sleep in. And, yeah.
Right, like they chase them like for miles in the backyard.
Oh yeah, just all night long. It's the best.
Absolutely. I can recall doing it as a kid. That's probably one of the funner times I ever had was chasing lightning bugs or fireflies, whatever you decide to call them.
Fireflies, yeah, they've got a bunch of different names, but yes, we have them here, and fond memories of collecting night crawlers and catching fireflies in the evening. Those are my two big things I like to do in the summertime when I was a kid.
Yeah, like night crawler catching. I remember that. Like I haven't done it in a little while, but man, that's like a fabulous thing to do.
Yeah, it was my go-to bait, of course, when you're a kid until you figure out how to use plastic worms or flies and do fly fishing and that kind of stuff.
It's like chasing a trophy buck. Like if you get like one of them monster night crawlers, you know what a monster night crawler is, right?
Oh yeah.
If you get a monster night crawler, they can feel you vibrating. So you gotta literally sneak. Gotta be quiet. We're getting this monster night crawler in a flower bed.
Oh, they can feel vibration when you see them. They know.
Yeah, you gotta. But the old mature night crawlers are like harder to catch. You realize that?
Absolutely.
It's so crazy. It's almost like big buck hunting.
Yeah, no, it really is. I used to sell those things when I was a kid. I had this big worm farm in my basement, and I'd keep it all moist, and I'd use it for all my fishing adventures, but then I'd sell a few to my buddies for, 10 for $1 or something like that. But it was cool.
Yeah, it's like a thing. Like I have some like city buddies that come out to the country, and I'm like, hey guys, we're going nightcrawler hunting. They're like, what do you mean nightcrawler hunting? Come on now, Dusty, you're nuts. I'm like, man, I'm serious. We're going nightcrawler hunting. We're going fishing on Sunday. We got to have some worms. I said, let's go. So they get out there, and they're like, hey, yeah, man, this is the craziest thing. Texting people and, taking pictures. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. You got to be quiet.
Yep.
You got to walk slow, easy. I swear it's the closest thing to big buck hunting I've ever done.
Best thing. Get that on film. Speaking of the word city and speaking of filming, we have a very unique guest on the show today.
Chip City is the place to be.
Oh, snap. Chipcity Spaulding is joining us again. This will be his second round on the Big Buck podcast.
Yeah, last time we heard from Chip City was at the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Great American Outdoor Show.
Yes.
With the Blackfoot, Salvo
Magro, yes. And we're going to learn a little bit more technical things tonight about how to film your hunts and a little bit more about what he does behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I know it's going to help you take your videoing to the next level.
Yes, yep. Learning how to be a videographer and an editor on a national TV show, Brackett Outdoors. This is the guy that does it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not talk about it. Let's get him on.
All right.
What's up, man? Hey, what's up with the New Hampshire number?
That's my number. What's up, Chip City?
I forgot you were out of New Hampshire.
I know you did. See that?
You thought it was
Who's Megan?
What's that?
Who's Megan?
Megan.
Megan, yeah, the number that you text me to call, you said give us a call or whatever, and there was a number at the bottom. I called it, and I got a voicemail from a Megan. I left her a funny voicemail.
My guess is that we
sent you the wrong number.
Sent you the wrong number. We should call Megan and get her on the line while we're doing this. Say, hey, Meg, what's up?
I know, right?
That's hilarious.
How's New Hampshire treating you?
It's humid, man.
It's hot there?
Yeah. It's not so much, it's not super hot. It's just wicked muggy.
Yeah.
Humid and just, you walk around, it's just dripping off you. Can't do anything about it.
I haven't been to New Hampshire in years.
Is that right?
It's been a while, yeah. My mom still lives in New Hampshire.
Okay. Over in Exeter, is that right?
Yep, Exeter. I got to get down there soon. I'm going to Maine for Chad, Mr. Serious from
Mr.
Animal
Serious.
House. He's getting married in Maine in August, so I'll be passing through that area.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably fly. I'm not going to drive.
Yeah. Where you landing, up there in Portland or somewhere else?
I haven't even bought tickets yet. I don't know. I'll probably fly into Boston.
Yeah.
And have someone pick me up or whatever, and maybe I'll stay with my mom and hang out with my mom for a couple of days, and then go to the wedding, and then get the heck out and get back here.
Gotcha. Where are you at right now, Chip?
Illinois.
Gotcha.
Peoria, Illinois.
Very nice.
Where all the flying fish are.
Oh, that's right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Didn't they have a little?
What's that?
Didn't they have a little problem with that somehow? There was the fish kind of got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean the flying Asian carp are they just spawn like crazy, and they're just everywhere. You can't even drive a boat in the river without fish jumping everywhere into your boat and knocking you out. And it's pretty crazy.
Right.
They're pretty intrusive,
I think
nasty things.
I had heard something about there was like a big fish kill for some reason. I don't know if there was a virus or a parasite or something that knocked out a bunch of them. You hear anything about that?
A bunch of the carp or a bunch of the fish, period?
Bunch of the carp.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. Chris used to do the whole flying fish thing and take people out on the river and shoot them with his bow and stuff.
Yep.
I went out once with him last summer. It's kind of like I would rather just regular bowfish, just go out regular bow fishing.
Yep.
The flying carping is it's exciting for 10 minutes and then you're over it.
Really?
Yeah. It's because when you're out on the river, normal bow fishing, it's like you're hunting. You're looking for something and you're looking for a fish and you see him and you get excited and you try and make a shot. But when you're doing the flying fish thing, as soon as you get in the boat, there's just fish, hundreds of fish jumping everywhere, and you shoot your bow 100 times in the first 10 minutes, and then you're like, okay, then it's just more or less trying to hit a target.
Interesting.
Really? Yeah.
Have you seen the Eric Young show? The wrestler Eric Young? He does a fishing show.
No. Wait, what's it on? What channel?
Let me look it up. I want to say it's A&E, but I'm not positive.
Is that the guy with the real raspy voice?
A little bit. He's got a beard. He goes by Showtime in wrestling, and he decided he wanted to do a show. I want to say it's like Off the Hook with Showtime Eric Young.
Yeah. He's been doing that for a few years now, right?
Yeah, I think he's done 2 seasons. I think he's in his 3rd right now.
So is this a guy that's on the jet ski?
Yes.
Gotcha.
He does the jet ski. He caught a tuna fish in a kayak. He built
he does like weird shit.
Weird stuff. Like hand lining for giant grouper. But one of the things, he went down to Peoria and he got on a speedboat and did water skiing with basically a spear and a helmet, and he went and tried to spear the flying fish as they're jumping out of the water, going as fast as he could on a speedboat.
Really?
That was awesome. Now I want to do that.
That would be fun. They're pretty tough, man. If you're not paying attention, they can knock you out.
Yeah,
Really?
That's why he wore the football helmet.
Oh yeah, for sure. Chris's girlfriend got her jaw broken by one of them.
Holy
few
smokes!
years
Wow.
back. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. Popped up and broke her jaw.
So what else is going on, Chip? You busy editing? I see you like spend 24 hours and take a day off, then do another 24 hours of nothing but.
Dude, it's rough. I've just been editing my butt off. It's we spent a lot of time filming last year and getting everything done, and then going to all the outdoor shows and stuff. I saw you guys PA.
Yeah.
And then bear season, turkey season came, and now it's like we're down to the last wire getting these episodes out to the outdoor channel.
Gotcha. So you have to. It's like it's time to crunch it all together. You can't sit back. You gotta do study for the final the night before, all nighters type stuff.
Oh yeah, it's usually the way it's typically done is you start early and you get a lot of your episodes done before they start airing. But right now I'm editing them like as they air. I'm handing them in and they air like the next day. So
yeah. I was noticing that you would say, all right, just finished this thing, and then it'd be on television 2 days later.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
there's
close there.
There's no time for error at all. Like, there's no time for me to take a break. I'm not allowed to get sick or tired or eat or nothing, pretty much. So, yeah, if I don't get them done, they don't air.
No kidding.
Pretty much the way it is. A lot of stress.
Yeah. You seem kind of stressed out. Now, how do you stay awake that long? You just... A lot of coffee,
lots of caffeine.
Caffeine, and that's it.
Yep, lots of caffeine, lots of nicotine.
Gotcha. What's Blackfoot up to these days?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Blackfoot in about a month, maybe.
Gotcha.
He doesn't. He no longer works for Chris. I think he's doing something with another show. I don't know. He's posting weird things on Facebook lately, like try and guess the new show that I'm working for.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's like, I don't know what he's doing. He's off, and he I don't know. Blablo the Blackfoot, I have no idea. We're still buddies and stuff. Like, he texts me once in a while, but I don't know what he's doing. I pretty much follow him on Facebook now, and just he's posting strange stuff all the time.
Yeah, you want to know which? I remember that post. He asked what show we're working on next. I was like the new Sanford and Son or something like that. And
yeah,
they're all
you I did see where you posted Sanford and Son, Joe.
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite show ever. The old Sanford and Son.
Well, hopefully this one freaking works out for him. He seems to be jumping around a lot.
Yeah. You're locked in with Chris, keeping it tight. Anything else on the horizon for you?
Just working hard right now on getting these shows out, and I've got little projects here and there and stuff like that, but no big things on the horizon. Just really focusing on these shows at the moment.
Yeah. You like being behind the scenes like that instead of being on the camera?
Yeah. I like both. It depends. I really enjoy the production side of things and editing things. That's where I get to kind of be an artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where I get to kind of scratch that, because I've done music for a long time, and I used to draw a lot, and it's something to kind of scratch that and get my kind of art fixes to create these episodes. But I also enjoy obviously hunting and being on camera as well. I much rather enjoy it when I do like a guest appearance or like a little cameo on like somebody else's show. I don't really like filming myself or having like Chris film me and then me editing it and doing all that stuff. Like if I'm in front of the camera or whatever, I'd rather it just be in charge of somebody else.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So where'd you develop all your skill sets? You got to know how to operate a lot of this equipment. Did you just naturally do it? You go to school for it? How'd you get there?
No, I just kind of figured it out. I just, as a young kid, just skateboarding everywhere, and my buddies and I would make skateboard videos.
Yep.
I just I just, figured out pretty much how to work cameras and stuff like that. And then once I started editing footage and trying to figure out television and movies and stuff, I just started watching a lot of movies and reading a lot of books on filmmaking, and then pretty much just studying television and movies and just kind of copying or emulating what I saw,
Gotcha.
That and just the program, teaching myself how to use the program, that probably is what took the longest, the editing software and stuff like that.
Do you have like a pattern that you like to follow when it comes to the art side of things? Like there's certain elements, like if I were to see your work somewhere else, I didn't know it was you, do you leave clues about, well, that would be me?
What's that? Say that again?
Do you leave like clues in your work that I could identify that's Chipcity Spaulding? Like a fine artist might leave a little mark or a style. Could I always tell it was you?
No, I mean, I don't really have obviously I have a recognizable style, but there's nothing that I do consciously or any routine that I follow to keep doing that or whatever. It's pretty much just ideas and certain things that kind of come into my head and whatever. I mean, I just kind of build
Gotcha.
shows, and yeah, it just kind of comes together.
Gotcha. Just kind of pops into your head, and I'll do it this way, do it that way. Style a scene a certain way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably that way because I never went to school for it, so I was never taught how to do something. I had to figure out how to do things myself, so obviously now I do things my own way,
Right.
A lot of people that go to film school or go to school on, how to run cameras or how to make television shows, whatever, they all kind of end up making the same shows and the same films. All their movies look alike and all their television shows kind of look alike.
Right. That's true. It's kind of almost like a template that they create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to edit a show, Chip City?
It depends. It really all depends on the show. Typically a week, but sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, but usually about a week, about 7 days of hard work. It takes me longer than other people. And I think that's just because I'm a real big critic of my own work. Like, I'll stay up till 5 in the morning and work on this one little piece that's 2 minutes long and really slave over it and then go to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at it, I'm like, oh, that sucks, and I'll erase it.
Really? So you just throw it away?
Yeah. So and then it's back to square one. I'd get a lot more work done if I just didn't look back and just kind of pump things out, but I really sit and drool and critique over my own stuff, which kind of slows me down.
Yeah, that may separate you from others, and it seems that it has.
True, but at this point, I wish I could just not look back and pump them out. At this point, I'd probably be able to get these episodes done and be able to take a break. Holy cow, I can't wait. I think I'll have these done by September. Come September, I think I'm going to go on vacation.
Wow. That's when you're going to finish all the work for all the shows that you've been working on? Holy smokes. So
that's a lot of time in the editing room.
Yeah, we've got to do, we're going to do 10 episodes this year. Typically you do 12 or 13, but we're going to trim it down a little bit and do 10 solid ones. We had a few episodes that would be good episodes, but not great episodes. And we kind of went through and weaned out some of the episodes that might be weak. We just don't want anything weak this year. We want everything to be strong, and we don't want a filler episode just because you're expected to do 12, so you got to do 12, so you'll end up making 2 weak episodes or 2 kind of mediocre episodes when I don't really want to do that.
Just producing it to have the content and not a great one. Sometimes that sneaks in there. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. What about, I got to say, my favorite show that I've seen so far is the Goose episode. That was awesome.
Yeah, that one was actually, that one was my favorite that we did for Arrow Affliction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one kind of came out good. That one I was fresh. That was the first Arrow Affliction episode of the season, and I hadn't edited all year, so I was like just really super fresh and ready to go, and tons of ideas. So that one was that one came out real nice.
Came out great. That looked like a heck of a fun hunt too. Where were you guys on that one?
Right down the road, pretty much from my house.
No kidding.
Yeah, like a half hour away. The guy who runs the place, Rick Ham, people call him the Snow Fox. He's got 3 pits now. He started off with 1 pit. Now he's got 3 pits in different locations. And, each pit sits over or under, as you would say, like 10,000 full-body decoys.
Wow. 10,000? 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000. So he's got
crazy.
like 30,000 decoys between the three spreads.
Does he just leave them there, or does he pick them up when he's done?
He leaves them there all season, yeah.
Wow. I was going to say, because I get aggravated when I put out 20, and I have to pick them up. I can't imagine picking up 30,000. Holy smokes.
Yeah, they put them out and pick them up every year, but just once a year.
Right.
They'll probably typically set up, start setting up. I don't know when they start setting up, but they'll set up, and then they'll leave it out there the whole season, and then when they're done, they take them all in. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's fun. It's a hit or miss thing though too. Just depending on really when they're flying or the weather or whatever. I mean, you could sit there for 2 days in a row and not really have much action, and then the next day they just come in like ants, man, or whatever you want to say. They just
sheets of white coming in. Just insane.
Yep. Thousands of them.
I think it was in that episode too where Chris was shooting bumblebees. Is that right?
Yep, bumblebees with his bow.
What inspired that?
Actually, I was shooting bumblebees with my bow.
Of course you were. It was your fault. Of course it was.
I was shooting bumblebees with my bow, and Chris was just sitting. We were in Georgia. We had just got done filming the quail hunting episode, and I was shooting bumblebees with my bow, with my recurve, my Martin recurve. I had just gotten it recently, and I just couldn't put it down. I'm obsessed with the recurve now. It feels like I'm 10 years old again, just starting archery all over again. All I think about is shooting that recurve. It's fun. But, so I was shooting at bumblebees, and then so Chris, started trying it, and we filmed them. We just ended up making it a viewer challenge.
Right. And you actually ended up hitting a couple, as I recall.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yep.
How many shots did it take before you hit one?
I don't know. Quite a few. We sat there for a while shooting at them. They were everywhere. The carpenter bees. Georgia was awesome, man.
How did you guys when you hunted the quail? Did you have dogs that were pointing them?
Yep, we had dogs that were pointing them. We were shooting them with bows. I actually ended up shooting 5 quail with my bow.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Was there any different technique that you used there that you normally wouldn't use shooting your bow?
No, not really. They get up so fast. You kind of just, with the recurve, you just stare at them and shoot. There's no really aiming. You don't use, I was with a recurve, so it's kind of just instinct at that point. They get up and kind of startle you, and you just fire an arrow at them.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was going to say, it sounds instinctual, like the recurve guys. Isn't that kind of what they get into, is instinctual shooting with the recurve?
Yep. And it's, once you learn how to shoot instinct without, with no sights just staring at your target, shooting those birds out of the air is actually not as hard as you would think. Like, people saw the episode, they might watch the episode and go, holy cow, Chip's an amazing shot. That's crazy. I'd never be able to do that. But really, I was surprised. Like anybody could do it. I mean, I've been getting really good with the recurve, practicing every day, but I never thought I'd be able to shoot a flying bird out of the air. But like the first one that got up, just kind of startles you, and I'm staring at it as it's flying away, and I flung an arrow and it hit it. So it's just really instinct. It's not like trying to take your time and pick your shot. You're kind of just like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing as if you had a handful of rocks and you walked around and waited for one to get up and you're throwing rocks at them. It's the same thing.
Right.
That's crazy. What are we going to expect throughout the season on Outdoor Channel? What do you got coming for us?
We got this brand new season of Fear No Evil just started airing in July. That's what I'm working on now, is all the Fear No Evil episodes.
Is there any
Any particular one?
Yeah, give us a heads up what we should be looking for.
I just got done finishing up our trip from Alberta, where Chris missed a 200-inch whitetail in velvet. And and then we did Montana. That was great. A good episode that everybody really needs to look for is I did a hunt last year with Erica Sanders where we stayed in a box blind for 3 days. We never left it. We slept in there, we ate in there, we lived in a box blind for 3 days. We never came out. We went to the bathroom in bags and buckets and lowered them out the window, and so that's gonna be a fun episode.
Well, that's some roughing it. Now, where were you when you shot that one?
Illinois, South Fork Outfitting.
Okay. What was the inspiration behind that?
I was hunting during the first gun season, and on my way out to the blind every morning, I was bumping deer. I was bumping like 10, anywhere from 10 to 20 deer. You could watch them out in the field run. They snort at you. You hear them run off, and it's like, man, I wish I could just teleport into the into the box blind. And my cameraman was like, or you could just sleep in it overnight and wake up in it. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. The light bulb went off right there.
Uh-huh.
So for the rest of the weekend gun hunting, I was just thinking about it, and I was like, man, I should really do that. And I couldn't think of anybody that would really stay in a blind with me for 3 days and sleep in a blind. So I think it was actually Tad from South Fork that I was telling him my idea, and he said, the only crazy person that would probably do that is Erica. And I was like, you know what, I think you're right. I called her up, and she said she was in.
No kidding. So you and a chick in a ground blind.
In a box blind.
In a box blind. 3 days.
For 3 days. I mean, it wasn't like a ground blind that you pop up or whatever. This was it was one of those shadow hunters. So it's got wood. It's wooden. It's made out of wood or whatever.
Sure,
and it's got the plexiglass windows and it's elevated.
Right. It's built. It was pre-built and put there like a cabin kind of thing.
It was cool. It was big. It was big enough for us to have. It was like a little office,
Right. Did you have his and her bathrooms?
Oh, just one bathroom.
Just one bathroom, man. That's some real roughing right there.
One community bathroom, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Did you do all the filming yourself, Chipsy?
Yeah, Erica did. Erica was filming, and we had the Verb little action cameras. They're kind of like GoPros. They're actually better. We had those all up inside the blind, and we documented the whole thing, all the way from coming up with the list of supplies that we would need, and going to buy them, and then all the way to going into the blind. They actually locked us in the blind.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
That's going to be a good one to check out. So this is, that sounds like something right out of Animal House, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like David Blaine meets hunting.
Right. That's a good description. I'm in tune with what you just said. I like that.
Yeah.
When's that due to air?
I don't even know the date. Pretty much whenever whatever week I decide on working on it, it will be the next week after that is when it's going to air. I don't really have a list of episodes in what they're going to air or what I'm working on. It just kind of flows. Like this one I'm working on now is like a food plot episode on Chris planning his food plots and the troubles that he has with no rain, and then some early doe management. And we didn't know that we were going to start working on this episode or do that episode at all. When I finished the Montana one, I just kind of started going through the footage and figured it'd be a good one to put together.
Yeah, right on. Everybody's putting out food plots, and it won't be long, and we'll be in some doe management season.
Yep, kind of try and stay with what everybody's kind of up to or getting ready for.
Yeah, right on.
Chip, I got to ask you a question, and this is kind of coming back from. It seems like everybody, with the advent of social media, is trying to get on TV or create a channel. Every time I talk to somebody offline, they're always like, "Oh, how do you think we should go about doing this?" And I don't know. I'm a podcaster. I'm not a TV show guy. What would you say to somebody that's just starting out? They want to be on TV. Is there a form?
They want to be on TV or in the hunting industry is what you're saying?
TV, hunting TV. If they want to be on TV with a hunting show. Is there a formula for doing that?
No. I mean, yeah, lots of hard work and determination.
Right.
there's not a formula. It's just, if you want something, you got to go out there and you got to work for it. You got to get it. I mean, if you want to be a photographer, then you got to go out and take pictures and get your work out there. And it's the same with if you want to be on TV. I mean, a lot of guys, you get a lot of people like, on Facebook and stuff like that are kind of angry at you that you're on TV and that,
right.
And that why, and they always talk about like, oh, these, us people that work, 9 to 5s never get a break and have no end to the industry. And it's like, yeah, you do. You have every means possible to get into the industry. You just have to go and do it. It's about, the guy, just take, for instance, a guy just last week was like, I kill bigger bucks than anybody on the Outdoor Channel every year and this and that, and it's bull crap that I work, I work my life away and nobody gives me a break. And it's like, there is no breaks. Nobody came up to me and tapped on my shoulder and said, hey, you want to produce television shows and be on TV? Like, it's something that I wanted to do, so I went after it. I just started filming everything, filming all my hunts, editing them up as nicely as I could, and putting them on YouTube and showing them to people. I started going, before I even had a television show, I started finding ways to get into the ATA show where, like, you're only allowed there if you're invited. So I would, pull strings from this person that would pull strings with this person to get me a pass. Or I'd stand outside and wait for a young kid that looked cool and said, hey, man, are you leaving? And, oh, yeah. Well, can I have your pass?
Oh, wow.
So it's also about who you know. So that's how you do it that way. That's how you meet people. That's how you meet other producers and other shows and people that are running these companies, product companies and stuff like that. You got to go to these shows and you got to meet people and you got to network.
Right.
No one is going, well, fortunately, what happened for me is I kind of got into it where actually the stuff that my buddies and I were doing when I lived in New York, it was found. And people started getting a hold of us because they like it. They liked our videos. That usually doesn't happen that way. You know what I mean? You have to really get out there and you have to hustle.
Right. So and this is a theme I've been on for the last few shows, is that if you want to go be in this industry, then go be in this industry. Don't wait for somebody to come get you. You have to go get it. That's the way it works.
Exactly. It's exactly. It's the same principle as like somebody complaining about somebody being in the NBA and why don't us hard workers ever get a break to be in the NBA?
Right.
Dude, if you want to be in the NBA, then you gotta play basketball.
Right.
You gotta play your ass off.
Right.
You know what I mean? No one just taps you on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you want to be in the NBA?"
Right.
Yeah, right on.
You got to start early in your career. You got to have a passion for it, and you have to have some skill sets behind it, and talent, and a drive.
Right.
And
fortunately, in this industry, you don't really have to start at a young age like you would professional sport.
Right.
I just posted something the other day on Facebook. Like the first time I ever even touched like a DSLR camera, which is one of the cameras that I shoot a lot of the shows with that I'm editing and producing now. The first time I ever even used one was 3 years ago. Before that, I was using camcorders and stuff that I bought at Walmart. You know what I mean? $500 camcorder that anybody can go buy.
Right.
So my first professional piece of equipment that I touched was only 3 years ago. So it's something that if you want it, you can do it, and if you set your goals, and then it can be done, in a shorter amount of time than you would if you were trying to get into the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, being a professional athlete, especially the NBA, you're going to need some natural athletic skills to begin with.
Of course, yeah.
But editing, being hunting, fishing, learning how to edit video, these are all things that can be taught. But you did say something interesting on your Facebook page, is that you can give somebody a paintbrush, but it doesn't mean they're going to make a masterpiece out with that paintbrush. And remember that?
I think that was along the lines of, I was talking about equipment. I was talking about, everybody asked me, what kind of camera should I get, or what the best camera to get, and it seems like people think that, of course, the better camera that they have, or the more expensive camera that they have, then the better their videos will appear.
Right.
When that's not the case at all. I mean, obviously, a good camera is going to make a good cameraman better, but a good camera is not going to make, a beginner better.
Right.
Is what I was kind of trying to say. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
can buy, you can go out and you can buy the most expensive, best paintbrush there is, but it doesn't, like, it's not going to make it so you can go out and paint, the Mona Lisa.
Right.
No, it's just, now you're going to be painting beginner pictures with a very expensive paintbrush.
Right. Yeah. The camera is just the tool. Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be using an old Super 8 or something like that versus today's technology. That's kind of just entry level to make high quality video as far as how it looks. But then there's everything that goes into that video. You're not going to just you're not going to make a great movie because I gave you a great camera.
Yeah, you still have to tell your story. I mean, that's what the camera's for, is to pretty much tell a story.
Exactly.
And if you don't know how to tell a story and paint that picture right, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you're using. Right.
And that's my point that I think I'm trying to drive at here is it's the storytelling that is the gift, and how you tell your story that's the real craft you have to hone. Forget about the camera. Yep. Honing your storytelling abilities is the key.
Yep, storytelling, but storytelling with the camera. Like, pretty much, I try and tell people, like, cameramen that film me or cameramen that I'm training, is that, like, okay, today I'm going to have you, from when we get up in the morning to go hunting to when we get home, I'm going to have you write down in the, on a piece of paper or in this little notepad, everything. You have to write a book. You have to write a story of exactly what happened, word for word, and make it interesting for people to read. And then after I tell them that, and I said, but instead of a pen and paper, I'm going to give you this camera. So then they kind of start. Then it kind of clicks and they get it. Like, oh, okay. Like, if you were to wake up in the morning and have a journalist or whatever write everything and write a story that sounded like a Stephen King's or a well-written piece on what happened the day, and it has to be good and people are going to want to read it. It's the same thing, but instead of a piece of paper and a pen, you have a camera.
Right. Yeah. Now, when you're doing the filming for the hunts, I mean, this is real life stuff. You're not doing like storyboards to develop how it's going to happen. Some of the stuff's just going to happen naturally, right?
Of course. Yeah.
How much of it goes to a storyboard where you need to create almost like the acting piece? How much of it is acting? How much of it is just real life? This is just randomness.
All of the, like, at camp footage and actual hunting footage is real life. The acting is the part where is the part of the show that we call the spine, is when you film the interview with the hunter where they talk about their hunt.
Gotcha.
And if you film everything live as it happens during the hunt and at camp and stuff like that, you can kind of build a story. And sometimes you catch a story that you didn't even realize that was going on. Take, for instance, the Alberta, like this show that we just did. We showed up to Alberta. We did what we always do. We took a day to go hang tree stands.
Yeah.
We had some trail camera pictures that the outfitter showed us of this really, really big deer that was out there. So we're like, oh, that'd be cool if we saw him. So the first day we ended up seeing the deer. We're like, oh, cool. Let's just wait until, let's not move in on him. Let's just wait and see what he's up to. So the next day the deer actually comes right by us and Chris misses him. And then I filmed some more hunts, and on the last day he kills this 8-pointer. Well, that sounds like a boring story, but then when you actually write the spine, it turns into, we traveled so far to Canada, and we get to Canada, but we're after this, we're after these big deer that are smarter than normal deer, and we got to set up just right, and we got to set the perfect stands, and that's what we really do. And this guide knows his stuff, and he watches these deer, and you talk about the guide or whatever. So we've got the stands hung, the wind's right. We're going to go in the morning and see if we can see what these deer are up to. Okay, we did it. Mission complete. We saw the big buck. what we're going to do is we're going to slip in tomorrow into the stand and see if we can get a crack out of him. And then the next day he comes, we got a crack at him. And then the following day we see him again, but he gets chased off by coyotes. Man, this is a horrible trip. What the heck? We don't know if we're going to get this done. And then on the very last day, we switch stands last minute and trim a bunch of brush to get to so we can get these shots because these deer are behind the stick stuff, and we finally did it. Mission complete, happy ending. So then it's a story. But at the time, you just thought you were kind of filming everything, and you're like, oh. But when you sit back and look at all the footage after you get home, you're like, okay, I got a story here.
Right.
It kind of flows. That it all got to flow.
Yeah. I'm trying to really concentrate this year on, because Chris calls the show Fear No Evil, and he stands by the reason for that is overcoming evil. And what evil in hunting, you might ask, but it's in his mind, he thinks that the evil is anything that kind of is trying to hold you back. Anything like we were just talking about, those guys they're all pissed off at me because they see me on TV, and they're like, oh, we can't get a break, blah, blah, blah. Well, fear no evil. What's holding you back, are you, do you need to go save up money and buy that camera and get your friends motivated to get in the woods and start filming some stuff? You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, whatever's holding you back, you can go do it,
Right.
So pretty much go after what you want and don't pay attention to the naysayers and don't pay attention to the stuff, the downers. So I'm trying to focus because that's the name of the show. It's funny that that's the name of the show, but the actual premise or the actual format of the show has never been built around that.
Right.
I've kind of taken this year, because it's been edited by people in the past, not by me. All the seasons up until now were edited by other people and filmed by other people. But this year we kind of took the approach that we're going to be really educational and show people exactly what we're doing. But I want to, in every episode, show the struggle, show how we overcame that and succeeded, That's
the basis of all the stories. That's what you're all about.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
And
that's the title of the show, and it baffles me that none of the other cameramen or editors before that actually were like, oh, well, let's make the show about that. Right. I don't know.
That's the whole premise. That's the whole concept. So
yes.
Everything has to be around that. That's the story. That's the beginning of every story.
It's like they came up for a concept of the name of the show and why the show, Chris kind of liked the name Fear No Evil,
right,
and what it stood for, but no one ever was really like, well, let's make the show about that. You know what I mean?
Right. They lost the theme along the way somewhere. They lost the message.
Yeah. It never really had that message.
Right.
Just the title did. But the actual show never really had that message.
Gotcha. So you're gonna try to connect the dots now. You're gonna try to put it all together for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Now, the other, nothing to take away from any of the other seasons. They were amazing. All the seasons have been amazing.
Sure.
The first season is when Chris was with Zach Brown, and so Zach Brown's production, the guys that, a guy by the name of Darren, I want to say his last name is Doan, maybe. I forget his last name. He did an amazing job. And then Mark Baird from Watermark Productions took over after that, and they do an awesome job. They edit a bunch of shows actually on the Outdoor Channel and I believe the Sportsman's Channel, and everybody down there does a great job. It was pretty hard to fill those shoes.
Right.
Being someone that was new to editing. When I first started, I had the skills to do it. I just didn't know it, and I wasn't confident.
Sure.
So it was really scary at first, trying to, I would watch all the episodes that Watermark would do, and it's like, man, how the hell am I going to do that? This is so good. And then after I finished, an episode, people would watch it and be like, holy cow, this is really great. But to me, in my mind, I would look at it and be like, man, but it's not as good as the other, but it's just the way I see things. A lot of people think these episodes are better, but.
Well, don't you think the artist is always more critical of their own work than everybody else?
Yeah. I don't even watch them on TV. I don't even watch my episodes when they come out on TV. I have a real problem of thinking something's really good and then going back and looking at it and just being disgusted with it. And So I don't even watch them. Like when I'm done with them, I'm done with them, and that's it.
Right. And it's kind of funny. There's stuff you might think it was great, and the rest of the audience might thought it was okay. And then there's stuff that you thought was not so good, and everybody else thought it was the best thing they'd ever seen.
Right.
It's just the way it rolls. Everybody has different tastes and opinions. You just never really know. The point is more about just doing it, getting it out there, and not worrying about it. Don't worry about the naysayers and the critics and all that other stuff. Just do it.
Exactly. I'm trying to get to the point where I can go back and look at it and be like, that is good.
Right.
There's a few episodes where I can do that, like like the Goose episode that you like so much. Like I can look back on that episode and say I like that episode, but there's not too many of them. A lot of them I look back and just pick apart.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. All right, so let's talk about some camera tips. So you're in the field a lot with a camera, right?
Yep.
What are some tips that you can to help people that are kind of doing their own thing? I don't know anything about camera work. I know I've got a little handheld and I bring it out, but I'm panning left and right and it's up and down. It makes me dizzy to watch the stuff I do because it's just for my own home use. I'm not trying to make it great. Just trying to capture the kill, or even not even just to kill, just to watch some of the deer again to know that I was on the hunt, not for television at all. How can I make that better?
Just watch. You can watch movies and you can watch other hunting shows. And instead of getting sucked into the story, just really pay attention to camera angles and the way cameras move and why. And it's a lot. There's no really I don't know the science behind it.
Yep.
I never studied the science behind it. I don't know why this shot looks good or that, or when to use this or when to that. It's just kind of something that I do.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you're not there. There's some guys that study this all the time, but that doesn't mean it's right.
But
that's better.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, if you want to film your own hunts, or if you want to be an outdoor filmmaker, then that's pretty much what you are. Then as soon as you decide that that's what you want to do, then that's what you are, and you need to tell people that's what you are. Make a business card, give it to people.
Sure.
Go out and shoot everything that you can with your camera, and be creative and just put life into it. I've seen a lot of stuff lately. I've been seeing where people have these big, expensive tripods and big, expensive setups and everything like that, and it's great. But their projects kind of look dead. There's no movement to the camera. There's no life to it. So just kind of grab your camera, hold it by your hand, and move it around and point it at things and get some cool stuff.
Now that's a good tip right there.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's shots that you are going to want a tripod, and you're going to want this and you're going to want that. But I won't say the name of it, but I watched a program the other day that was supposed to be this big, great, wild production, and it was kind of lifeless because 90% of the footage was obviously on this big, expensive, set, this big, expensive crane or this big, expensive tripod, and there was no really emotion to it.
Right. You think they overthink it?
Oh yeah, I think they overthink it way too much. Well, actually, I don't know if they overthink it or they underthink it. I can't tell. I know they a lot of them try too hard to outdo each other production-wise. And it shows. I think a lot of these producers are all in this competition to have the best and the best show and the best production, and their end project looks like a really boring, like National Geographic's like
March of the Penguins
science movie that you had to watch in school.
Right.
The production is amazing. The cameras are the best cameras you could get, but everything is just there's no life to it. It's like all these amazing slow motion shots and these track shots and this beautiful stuff, but it's just like one long music video. It's of staring at flowers and clouds and stuff, and no real emotion or no real one-on-one talking with the hunters, and no education, and they've gotten away from the whole education and entertainment value of it, and now it's just become this big, pretty, like opera, if you will.
Right. No, seriously, it's an opera. It becomes almost sterile. It's so perfect that it's sterile. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like. I think it keeps the viewer from engaging because it feels so unreal.
Exactly. When I'm following when Chris sees a deer and we're hunting or stalking a deer, the camera angles and the movements that I make are on purpose, and I'm following them. It feels like an episode of Cops, and you're in there, you're in the action, and it's live. And I watched a scene the other day where a guy was pursuing a deer and saw a deer and was trying to make a sneak on it, and it was like the camera was on this like dolly slider moving slowly from left to right as he walked by, and it was rack focusing on this from the flower to the guy to where he was headed, and then it's real close-ups of his footprints or his feet hitting the dirt as he was sneaking up on the deer, and it was like, just shoot the damn deer, man, come on.
Right. See, that's like taking this kind of this outdoor moment that is intense and should be as real as possible, not that much cutting or editing, and turning it into just a theater movie production that doesn't really belong in the outdoor world. There's
right.
So much imperfection.
Yeah, and it does belong to a certain extent.
Sure.
And when people first started kind of bringing that feel into the hunting scene, it was great, and it is great, but it's like all the producers saw that and never looked back, and like I said, now they're just all trying to outdo each other.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's nothing now to see a guy drawing back on a big elk from a helicopter shot that's slowly hovering above the whole scene, shot at 1,000 frames per second, so his arrow is traveling at super slow-mo speeds.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing to see that nowadays, and everybody's just trying to be more epic and more of a cinematographer, and that's what it is. I think these producers they're buying this equipment and they're trying to be a cinematographer when they already really are, and they just kind of have to develop their own style, and they have to remember that they're making films and they're making TV for the viewers and for the fans, for people to watch, and not themselves and other producers to try and, it seems like these producers are making their shows to impress other producers when
Yes.
they should be trying to impress and entertain the audience.
I agree, and it's kind of
agreed for sure.
It's like you're taking that storyboard, and polishing it up just to make a better story based off of the storyboard, but that's not real life. That's not real hunting. It's not the way it works.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. The producers are trying to impress other producers. They're not trying to impress their real audience, which is everybody watching the show.
And without your audience, you have no show.
You got nothing.
Exactly.
Yep. Why bother at that point? Let's talk about some cameras real quick, Chip, before we let you go. What's your favorite camera right now?
My favorite camera that I use is the Sony EX3. That's not like a DSLR. That's your big production camera, and it's my running gun type. Hunting. That's what we use for the hunts.
Okay. How about the GoPro? Where does that fit in?
I haven't been using GoPros really anymore. I used to use them a lot, but recently we got we've teamed up with Garmin.
Yes.
Who make the Verb cameras, and I am really I enjoyed the GoPros, and they get great footage. All of my older stuff was shot on GoPros, but I'm really, really hard on equipment, and I just was going through GoPros like crazy, and they were malfunctioning a lot and getting hot, and sometimes they shut off for no reason and all that stuff. And these Garmins, they shoot the same exact footage, if not better. I like the footage a little bit better. There's less compression. Now, if you don't know what compression is, the camera sees what it sees, and then it interprets it and turns it into a file. And by doing that, it takes this large file and compresses it into a smaller file, which you can now use. And it adds its own sharpening and contrast and color. Well, the Garmins just seem to have a little bit lesser intrusive sharpening and hard coloring when you really don't. As a producer, I don't want that. I want to be able to do that stuff myself.
Gotcha. You don't want to have it done for you inside the camera. You want to be able to create that if you want it, but leave it at that. So I think I saw your video that you made when you were goose hunting. You did some time lapse. photography, and that was the first time I'd seen you use the Garmin. And what's the name of the Garmin itself, the camera?
It's called the Verb.
The Verb. Okay.
Yep. VIRB. Hold on. Let me just make 100% sure.
Okay.
I think it's the Verb. Yep. VIRB. Verb.
Nice.
But it's a little bit bigger than a GoPro, but it's way easier, user friendly. I mean, if it's turned off in the off position, there's a switch on the side, and it's a big switch. It's like an 1.5 inch long switch that you just slide forward. It turns the camera on and automatically starts recording instantly. So there's no power up and then figure out which mode you want to shoot in and blah, blah, blah. But then obviously there's also a detailed menu where you can go in and
Sure.
custom set them up and do whatever. But
that could be real handy, couldn't it? If you're out in the woods and all of a sudden you got some action you weren't expecting. Boom.
Yeah, you just reach over and slide that switch. There's no little button you have to push and then stare at it to make sure the red light starts blinking. You slide that switch forward and it's on.
I like that.
That's a good feature.
They're also waterproof without a case. So you don't have to put this thing inside of a waterproof case. This thing is waterproof as it is. And
is the GoPro that way too, or no?
No, the GoPro, you got to wait. Say that again. Isn't the GoPro?
Is the GoPro waterproof like the Verb?
No, the GoPro is. You have to put it inside its little clear plastic case there.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And then they're just way more rugged. It's solid. You can feel it in your hand. It's heavier. They're just rugged, and they're made by Garmin, which is a giant company that makes all kinds of craziness.
Yeah, looking at the Verb there, it looks like it's got almost like an otter box wrapping around it, similar to that. Is it kind of like rubberized around it?
Yeah, and it also has a little LCD where you can see what you're recording, unlike the GoPro. Yeah, you can actually see what you're shooting, and there's a little screen on it. There's a GPS inside of this thing.
Wow.
You can mount it to your bike, and it'll tell you on the screen how fast you're going.
Really?
Yeah. It was funny, when we were actually goose hunting, I was holding it, and I would run to go retrieve gooses and to go retrieve like dead geese. And we were having the competition on who could run the fastest because it was telling us how fast we were running.
That's hilarious. That sounds like a good camera for any outdoor guy. I mean, you need the big camera, but that's good to have a few of those just to give to all the hunters that are out there in different angles.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's way more built and suited for the outdoorsman, the kayaker, the fisher, the hunter, the guy on the BMX bike. It's built for that, and the mounts are way easier to take on and off. They make more mounts, the more versatile mounts and clamps, and yeah, I would say it's just built. It's all around built better. They took their time with it.
Cool. Sounds like you've done your homework on this thing. All right, so I guess that's the next camera I'm adding to my collection. I've got the GoPro, but you just said so many cool things, and so this thing has so many features that I would love to see on my GoPro. I think I got to go check this thing out.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're cool. I was very surprised. They approached us about it, and me, being, the GoPro guy that I was skeptical about it, and I'm like, man, I just really hate the way this industry is. I mean, sometimes, to feed your family and pay bills, there's people out there, or you might be put in a position to use a product that you normally wouldn't use,
right,
just because,
Right.
So I'm not really a fan of doing that or big on that. So, but I was really, really surprised once I got it in my hand, and I have no problem promoting them and pushing them now because I actually really do like them.
That's cool. I've always liked Garmin products in general, and I was excited to see they came out with a camera. So I will have to check that out. Chipcity, if you had one tip for a hunter to use in the woods, what would it be?
A tip for a hunter to use in the woods?
Yeah, what's your best hunting tip?
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
We love this question. We absolutely love this question.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of great answers. But
absolutely.
I want to hear it from Chipcity.
I mean, my tip wouldn't necessarily be like a tactical tip on how to kill an animal, but I would say my one tip would just to have fun. And don't forget, why you're out there in the first place. I mean, I think if you're not having fun, then it defeats the whole purpose. Unless you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're trying to feed yourself and your family, then obviously fun isn't involved. But I mean, I would just suggest and give people a tip to have fun, and that's all about it. I mean, right. Whether kill the biggest deer or not, as long as you're enjoying yourself and having fun. I think a lot of people have forgotten about that. It's kind of become something else.
I think that's probably the best tip I've heard. I've heard a lot of tactical tips on how to do it, but that's like the basis for all we're doing is to have fun.
Yeah, that's the basis. Well, the tactical tips come along with everything else and experience or whatever, but I mean, you might get too swept away with all the tactical stuff, and one day you realize you're not having fun.
Right.
And then why the hell are you out there?
Right.
You know?
Agreed.
I like it. Spoken like a true artist. I'm impressed.
Absolutely.
Yep. Chip, this has been awesome, man. Good to talk to you again. You are, I think, one of the first repeat guests we've ever had on the show. And
sweet meat.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So how can we reach out to you? How do we follow you on social media, all that kind of stuff?
Chipcity on Facebook. Just look up Chipcity. Also on Twitter. You can check out the YouTube, Chipcity TV. I'm on there all the time. I'm actually trying to get my social networking game up at this point. I've been slacking. I've just been so busy. I haven't really been on there talking to people. So
I think you like the social media stuff because I think it's fun for you.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I like sharing. You know, instead of just posting stupid posts all the time, you know, like, I'm the man, check out my truck, or, you know, my lot's awesome, I'm in, you know,
right.
Las Vegas or whatever. Like, I like, you know, everybody that might not ever get a chance to meet me, or I might not meet them. I like them to know, you know, all the stupid things that I think about, or all my flaws, or, you know, want people to think that they kind of know me personally before they ever even meet me.
Right. That's kind of what social media is all about, is to kind of put yourself out there. Very cool, man. Well, Chip, this has been fantastic. I would like to have you join us again in the future and be the first tri-peat guest that we've ever had. And
I'm down. I'm down, and maybe next time when you guys catch me, I won't be so damn busy and strung out on caffeine.
There you go. Maybe after the season and before you get into the hardcore editing, maybe we'll catch you down at the Great American Outdoors Show or the ATA show this year.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. The ATA show would be great. Krungle is going to be there. The other guy, one of the other guys that was on Animal House, the bigger guy, he's going to be at the ATA. I actually just talked to him. I just talked to him for the first time in a long time. We weren't speaking for a while, not because we were mad at each other, just so busy, but I talked to him for a couple hours last night. He's going to be at the ATA, so maybe we'll get him on the show too.
Lord Krungle, is that what you...
We'll have the very first Animal House reunion that's taken place in the past 3 years, right on your podcast.
That'd be awesome.
That would be excellent. Now, Dusty stole the DVD that you gave me at the Great American Outdoor Show, and I still haven't gotten it back yet. So
oh, what a chump!
I know.
Hey, just shoot me your address. I'll send one out to you.
Awesome. Yep.
It's kind of like the Dynamic Outdoor CD I was supposed to get, Jay.
I'm looking at them right now. They're right now.
But all for real, Chip, man, we really appreciate you joining us, dude. And it's you shared some things that maybe take somebody's videography to the next level, and that's what we're all about, just trying to learn something. And I definitely learned some things from you. And we like your spirits, and we're catching the real Chip City right now because you're tired, you wore out, you've been producing and editing, and you've been knocking things out, doing some killer shows. And, that's the cool part. We caught you right in the middle of your busy time when you're actually working hard.
For sure.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate it. That's
real for us, and we like that. We see the real deal here. It's no gravy train when you're in editing all the time. And, I can tell just by talking with you that you wore out, you're tired, but you're still digging into it.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah, digging away. I think I've aged 10 years in the past 4 months.
I can tell. Yeah,
I seen a post about that not too long ago about you thinking.
Yeah, dude, it's disgusting. Like, I haven't even been posting like actual recently, like, because like people usually make fun of me and they're like, "Man, you're always taking selfies. You love yourself." And I'm like, "I'm just bored sometimes, man. Shut up." But yeah, like I haven't even been taking any selfies lately because I look in the mirror and I'm just like, "Holy crap, son! What is wrong with you?"
What happened to didn't you start a group or something?
Didn't I start a group? Oh, yeah. Fat Man Alert?
Yeah.
Fat Man Alert, yep.
What happened there?
Nothing. I kind of just started it, and I let it kind of do its own thing.
Gotcha. Is it still rolling?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, there's still people posting on it like every day, and there's still people that are all pumped up about it. I got a lot of people, all amped up about being healthy and working out and eating good foods and wild game and stuff like that. But I haven't been really paying attention to it or posting on it or even really following that kind of lifestyle anymore. I seriously sit in my house all day long. I'm whiter than anybody you've ever seen. I am so pasty white right now. My eyes are bloodshot. I'm overweight, and I think I've lost like a quarter of my hair since I last talked to you guys.
Oh, nice.
And you shaved the other day.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
And you were scared because you saw your second chin, you said.
Yeah, I didn't even know that I had it. My beard was covering up this second chin that I had grown and not even known about it. And I was trimming my beard, and I kind of made a little mistake. And I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'll just shave the whole thing off. I haven't, shaved in a long time like that. And that was a big mistake. There was another chin under there waiting for me.
Oh, I hate that.
Was you like, oh, snap?
Yeah. When I look in the mirror, it's scary. It doesn't even look like me.
That's funny. See, I didn't shave. I've been shaving pretty much my whole life except for this last deer season, and I got to naturally watch my second chin come in, so I knew it was there the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I gotta get back on my work. Like as soon as September hits, I gotta get back into shape and get some sleep and get my youth back.
Gotcha. Yep, I hit the mountain biking trail the other day, and I got some pretty cool videos of some black bear coming up the trail and some whitetail that were blowing like crazy. It was like I was in this auditorium and deer were surrounding.
Oh no crap! Right in New Hampshire?
Yeah. Go on the Big Buck Registry and check out a couple of the videos, and you'll see the. Actually, go to my J. Scott site. You'll see.
You know what? I saw your bear one.
Yep, that was it.
I saw your bear one the other day. It's weird because when I scan through Facebook and stuff like that, sometimes I don't realize who's posting it, but I still watch it.
Yep.
And now that you're mentioning that, there was 2 bears, right?
Yeah, 2 small bears, not cubs, but not big ones either. Just kind of walking up the the trail, and they never saw me. I was in the shadows somehow, and they were in the sunlight, and I think they was kind of blind. They would have kept coming if I didn't stomp my foot. It was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
really
cool.
Fun. I lived in New Hampshire half my life, and I never even seen a bear there.
Are you kidding me? No kidding.
Yep, never saw a bear while I was in New Hampshire hunting or anything.
Huh.
Did a lot of deer hunting in New Hampshire and a lot of turkey hunting and a lot of fishing. I never once saw a bear.
Interesting. It's almost to the point where I can't go out now without seeing one.
Right.
Just everywhere.
I think it was the area that I'm in. They were there's that Exeter, Hampton area right there on the coast
right.
and whatnot.
Yeah,
I don't think there was too many of them.
Not exactly black bear country, but yeah, where I am, they've been growing up pretty good. So, well, good, man.
Wow.
Chip, we'll let you go, but thank you very much for joining us again on the Big Buck Podcast, and we'll catch you again after you recover from your long-winded editing.
For sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Dusty, I love talking to Chip City. He's awesome.
He is awesome, and I think we're fortunate to have Chip City as a guest, repeat often because I just learned a ton about, camera angles and videoing and how to take that kind of, that's a side that we don't touch much into, but I think we need to because that's the next up and coming thing is video in your hunts.
Right. You can tell he's been editing for a while. You think, coffee is his best friend, and he seemed a little sluggish today compared to when we were at the show when, where everybody's buzzing around. You got 8 million people you're talking to. But I think this is the real Chip City we talked to tonight. This is the editor that sits in front of the computer making a masterpiece come together for the television screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that it's no gravy train to edit video like that. He's been up for days.
That's right. It takes.
He's been going after it.
I know. I spend a lot of time editing audio. I can't imagine what it's like for video. It's going to be even more intense because now you have to create special effects and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's probably very mentally draining.
It's got to be mentally draining. And I see his, post on Facebook, and it's tiring. It's got to be tiring, and he wants to put something out that's really good, and the stuff he thinks is good. And this, I noticed he called it something the other day. He said, "Where I made a mistake, people call that art."
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So thanks again, Chip City, for being on the show, and we'll check in with you down the road. Time for the Chubby Tines tip of the week, Dusty.
Rubber boots.
Ooh, rubber boots.
Rubber boots.
Like rubber baby buggy bumper kind of thing?
I'm saying rubber boots, bigger bucks.
Rubber boots, bigger bucks. Okay.
Yeah, rubber baby buggy bumper is good, but rubber boots, bigger bucks. You know,
all right, fill me in.
Rubber don't hold the scent. You know, it's not. It don't pick up any kind of odors. Now, obviously, if you walk through, you know, some sort of dog manure or diesel fuel or something like that, it's going to pick up something. But you're just your average everyday scents. Rubber does not pick them up. So what I'm saying is, if you're wearing leather hunting boots, switch it up to rubber and try that route, because it definitely is going to let you be more ninja, as Salvo would call it, headed into the woods.
Gotcha. Now, here's a question I always had, and maybe you can help clear this up. I do get the whole rubber boot thing, but the rubber itself has a scent, especially when they're new. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, agreed. But I don't think it's a scent that's actually released onto what you're walking on.
Okay.
Like a leather boot would. A leather actually picks up the molecules of the scent and disperses them.
And holds them and then squirts them out as you walk.
Yes, that's correct. You know, as you rub over grass or weeds or tree limbs, the actual leather is scrapable.
Gotcha.
And you can draw that scent out, the molecules. So, you know, rubber boots don't hold the molecules like the leather. They may have a scent. Don't get me wrong. They're not absolutely scent free, and that's unheard of pretty much with a pair of boots.
Right. I always felt like the boots you buy brand new or have a scent because that's the treatment that the rubber came in.
Right.
But then you wash them, you use them outside a little bit, and just expose them to element, all that kind of stuff wears off. And the boots, my old boots that I still have, don't smell anything like the boots you smell in the store off the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know, as time goes on, that natural, you know, newborn boot smell goes away.
Right, exactly.
Rubber boots, bigger bucks.
New boot smell. It's like new car scent.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's almost addictive.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. What's going on at Chubby Tines?
Just about the same. You know, we're seeing more mature bucks come in. You know, and we had a little bit of cooler weather last week, so you know, with the cooler weather, it's miserable this week. Don't get me wrong, but last week a little bit cooler. Some more mature bucks are showing up. So you know, it's for a little bit there, it was getting very interesting, seeing some nice big bucks.
Well,
yeah, not that the small ones don't impress me, but I always like big headgear.
Absolutely, love the big headgear. Makes pictures more interesting, that's for sure. But I shot my bow for a little while the other day, so it's starting to, you know, get my shoulder back in. My buddy has a brand new bow. We got it out and shot it, and my MQ-32, the Matthews, of course, is what I shoot with a whisker biscuit, and he's got one of those fancy new bows with the arrow rest, the drop rest. It actually just falls as you pull back, and it picks up the arrow, then you shoot, and it falls down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's called because I use the whisker biscuit, but we shot. His bow is so much faster than mine, but I was more accurate.
Awesome. What's going on at Big Buck Registry?
Well, we've got the standard submissions of bucks. They just keep flowing in. I've got people emailing, which is probably the best way to send it in. But if you want to know how to submit a buck, best place to go is to bigbuckregistry.com/mybuck. And it has all the instructions that you need right there, along with an email address or an upload link, or there's just a bunch of different ways to get us the picture. I am toying with, and I need your feedback on this, Dusty, about doing a Buck of the Week picture by voting based off of the bucks that had been submitted or had appeared on the Big Buck Registry for the full week. So it's approximately $5 a day. It would be $35 a week that you'd have to decide which was the best buck of the week.
That is pretty cool. Ideal. I like
so.
It. Yeah. Just let me think this out here. Let me ration it out a little bit.
Okay.
So you got how many bucks? 40.
It'd be 7 days,
okay.
$5 a day, $35 a week.
Gotcha. So $35 a week.
Yep.
And $1 of the week.
Yep, based off of voting. So what I think I'd do is I'd take all 35 pictures.
Okay.
I'd label them 1 through 35, and I'd say, okay, you want to vote on the buck of the week? Go to our buck page for that week and pick your favorite. And whoever tallies the most votes wins.
So what's the winner receive?
Well, that's what we're working on. I'm working on some prizes. Right now, as it sits, if we launched it today, it would be just honor. You'd be king of the bucks for the week. But I am working on some sponsor stuff that would go to the winner should they be picked by their peers.
Awesome.
So we'll see how that develops. But I thought that would be an interesting idea. I did post it on the Big Buck Registry, and it was an overwhelming yes. We want to do it. Not a single no.
Really? Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea, and I think that you're going to have a large response from it.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm in. Like I'm going to resubmit my buck to be goings for Buck of the Week. Can I do that?
Absolutely.
Maybe I can make Buck of the Week.
That'd be great.
I'd be excited to make Buck of the Week.
And we'll send you a prize, a sticker.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need the prize, but just to get in the running would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be just some pride, basically, to say, hey, I had the best buck on the Big Buck Registry this week.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yep. So that was just one idea. Other than that, you can always call the show at 724-613-2825. Go to our website, bigbuckregistry.com. You can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Big Buck Registry, or Twitter, twitter.com/Big Buck Registry. How do we reach you, Dusty, over Chubby Tines?
Facebook.com/Chubby Tines Outdoors, and you can look me up at Dusty Huntneck right here on Facebook.
Beautiful. All right. I think that's a wrap, man.
Awesome. Great show. We enjoyed the guest, and we thank you very much for listening.
Very much so. Well, I'm Jay Scott.
And I'm Dusty Phillips.
This is the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. See you next week.
Can't wait.